In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. I want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
Kooky, and it seems like they're just leaning into it. Like there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky.
Yeah.
Fun times.
The courtroom drama surrounding Diddy has taken a dramatic turn, with his powerful legal team doing everything in their power to refute the evidence against him. Could this latest move be the key to the music mogul going free? The stakes are extremely high. Diddy is making headlines again, but this time, it's not about his music, business endeavors, or legendary parties. His defense team is focusing on what they claim is a serious law enforcement procedural error, one that could create a precedent threatening the legal system itself. Let's examine the specifics of how Diddy's high-priced attorneys are challenging prosecutors, leaving everyone to question whether justice or power will ultimately triumph.
You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there. It's everywhere. My news feed is dominated by it. Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy's.
For months, Diddy has been at the center of a media firestorm, facing accusations that could dismantle his empire and potentially land him behind bars for decades. The charges against him are as serious as they come, painting a damning picture of alleged manipulation, coercion, and orchestrated events that reportedly left a trail of trauma. His shocking arrest in September sent ripples through the world, but as the investigation unfolded, the revelations only grew more unsettling. Claims of secretive gatherings, allegations of witness tampering, and explosive courtroom battles have dominated the headlines. Now, as prosecutors fight tirelessly to keep Diddy in custody, his defense team has revealed a strategy that could shift the entire case. At the center of this legal clash lies a series of handwritten notes seized during a raid of Diddy's jail cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Prosecutors argue these notes are a smoking gun, a direct insight into Diddy's alleged attempts to influence witnesses and unearth damaging information about his accusers, all from behind bars. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic minced no words, informing the court that the notes detailed plans to bribe witnesses and directed family members to gather dirt on his alleged victims. For the prosecution, these notes are not mere scribbles. They represent clear evidence of obstruction, providing a strong basis for keeping Diddy incarcerated until his trial.
Imagine if you're the CIA, you're like, okay, we're looking for people who have gone through these things in their life that have curated this kind of like personality type.
Well, isn't it just like part of the gig? Like here's a for instance, like your bit about Puffy.
Diddy's legal team is having none of it. Led by Mark Agnifilo, a seasoned attorney known for navigating high-profile cases, the defense is arguing that the seizure of these notes was not only a violation of Diddy's constitutional rights, but also a breach of attorney-client privilege. According to Agnifilo, the notes were part of privileged communications between Diddy and his legal team, detailing defense strategies and private discussions that should have been off-limits to investigators. During a heated court hearing, Agnifilo declared, "The bottom line is that no multi-agency law enforcement initiative justified rifling through Mr. Combs' personal, handwritten notes of conversations with his lawyers, and the prosecutor's arguments to the contrary lack all credibility."
Courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, their legal documents, the government's saying no. On the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes.
The defense is relying largely on the contention that the raid violated the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments of the Constitution, arguing that the search was unlawful and that the materials seized should never have been shared with the prosecution. This is not just lawyerly bluster either. Essentially, they contend that these documents were acquired during what they refer to as an institutional collapse. ASIAN has even demanded surveillance footage of the raid, implying that the search may have been directed specifically at Diddy rather than as part of a larger security operation. They argue it was part of a pretextual sweep, camouflage as a standard check for contraband.
I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think it's over as him as far as like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
The defense's approach is obviously flawed. The prosecution's credibility could be severely damaged if they are unsuccessful in framing the seizure of the notes as lawful and justified. After all, if the court finds that the notes were obtained improperly, prosecutors may be forced to exclude them from evidence, which could undermine their claims of obstructions and witness tampering. For Diddy, this could mean a much higher chance of getting bail, if not the dismissal of some charges.
If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days.
Prosecution remains steadfast, asserting that the search was conducted lawfully and that the seized notes are admissible evidence. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic explained that the notes were discovered during a routine Bureau of Prisons sweep aimed at addressing contraband within the facility. She emphasized that no member of the prosecution team was involved in any form of allegations of misconduct. Slavic also refuted the defense's claims of attorney-client privilege, noting that the notes contained to-do lists and other unrelated writings. Paying off a witness and digging up dirt on two victims is not privilege, she stated, reinforcing the argument that these notes expose a calculated effort by Diddy to obstruct justice.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, he could face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
The case against Diddy has taken another intriguing turn as U.S. District Judge A.R. Ranyan adopts a cautious stance on the contested evidence. While the judge has temporarily ordered prosecutors to delete all copies of the seized notes, he has also placed the original documents under court seal until the question of privilege is resolved. This decision leaves the notes in legal limbo, intensifying the battle between the prosecution and defense. For Diddy's legal team, it marks a small but crucial victory, buying time to argue that the notes should never have been seized in the first place. For the prosecution, however, it is a frustrating setback that could have far-reaching consequences if the court ultimately sides with the defense. This latest skirmish is just one of many in a case already filled with dramatic twists and turns. Earlier this month, prosecutors accused Diddy of using his time in jail to orchestrate a public relations campaign aimed at swaying potential jurors. According to court filings, Diddy allegedly instructed his children to post a video on social media wishing him a happy birthday, a move prosecutors claim was a calculated attempt to shape public opinion. Prosecutors further alleged that Diddy made numerous calls to potential witnesses using other inmates' phone accounts to avoid detection. Combined with the incriminating notes found in his cell, these allegations paint a picture of a man determined to manipulate the judicial process to his advantage, raising the stakes in an already high-profile case.
He doesn't kind of buy what the prosecution's selling. He thinks they've looked at the notes.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're cheating.
I mean, I would think that too.
But apparently, what happened
However, despite all of the damaging accusations, Diddy's defense team has been able to draw attention to the weaknesses in the prosecution's case. With the judge now examining the legality of the cell raid, the defense is attempting to reverse the trend by shifting the narrative away from Diddy's alleged actions and toward the government's handling of the case. AG has consistently emphasized that his client's rights were violated, accusing the government of misconduct and overreach at every turn.
Business. It's a lot of people.
It's not just the music business. It's the extortion business.
Well, I mean, the rap game was crazy. That's a thing a lot of people don't realize is like, back in the day, especially like early rap game, you weren't just going to play at, what's the random theater that you would play